Hey everyone, it's Rajiv and welcome to my channel Rajiv's Reviews. In this video, I'm going to be giving my book review of The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Firstly, I want to say that I picked up this book because it is the inspiration of the new Netflix TV show with the same name. So let me just say that after reading this book, I started watching the TV series and actually it is not at all related to each other. Perhaps the only thing that's the same between the two is the actual Hill House itself, but the characters and the storylines are completely different. So if you are planning on picking up this book thinking that it's same as the Netflix show, then don't, because it's not. However, if you want to see a movie adaptation of the book, then you can catch the 1963 movie The Haunting, which is actually closely based off on the book. So I'll briefly discuss the plot before I start talking about my review. The story starts off with this scientist named Dr. Montague, who is trying to get scientific evidence of the supernatural. So he hears about Hill House, which is a house that's supposed to be haunted and that no one stays in for too long. So then he rents Hill House for the summer and he does some research and gets a list of people who are somewhat connected to paranormal or supernatural activities, and he contacts them asking them if they can come and stay over at Hill House for the summer. Now, out of all the applicants, only two people show up, which is Eleanor and Theodora. So now these three people, who are Dr. Montague and the two ladies, are accompanied by another man named Luke Sanderson, who is actually the heir to Hill House. So then the story mainly revolves around these four people who stay for a week at Hill House and they start experiencing all these paranormal and supernatural activities that takes place inside the house. The main protagonist, however, is Eleanor, and the story is mainly told somewhat from her perspective as to how she experiences and goes through a change while she lives in Hill House. Honestly, I had a mixed reaction when I was reading this book. There are some parts which I really enjoyed, but some parts which I just hated and found very annoying. So let's start off with the pros. Firstly, I love the fact that the story does not rely on blood and gore for giving that thrill or chill factor, but the author has focused more on the elements of the unknown to give it a very atmospheric and spooky feel. The author takes very simple elements like the creaking of a doorknob or the rustling of the wind or the branches knocking off on the windowsill, and she makes the whole setting very disturbing just by using these elements. Another thing which I really liked about this story was that it focused more on the imbalance of the human psyche rather than purely on the supernatural elements. This is a spoiler-free review, so I am not going to give away the ending, but towards the end of the book, you will see how Eleanor's mind starts falling apart and how she starts becoming dysfunctional as she gets more and more attached to Hill House. So as a reader, you actually don't know whether there are spirits that have possessed Eleanor to make her behave this way, or if she's just having a nervous breakdown and going crazy. The author actually keeps you guessing as to what is actually going on in Hill House and if there is anything anyone can actually do about it. Now for the cons. Although I found the characters to be distinctive and unique in their own way, I really did not find them very likable. Both Eleanor and Theodora are unpredictable and moody in their own ways, and at times they are also very irritating. Also, there is a lot of this sarcastic humor in the form of dialogue that is exchanged between all the characters when something scary happens to them. I'm guessing that the author was going for the angle to show the reader that these characters use humor as a defense mechanism whenever something unknown approaches them. But the whole pacing of the story was in such a way that at night these characters used to face something very terrifying, and the next morning when they woke up they were just chill and carefree, and they had this witty banter between them, and it just did not seem very realistic. The only character who I actually found memorable and intriguing was the housekeeper, Mrs. Dudley, because she seemed very hostile and very secluded from the rest of the group. But again, we don't get to see much of her in the story. I love reading horror and suspense stories, and to be honest, this was not a spooky read for me. Considering that this book was published in 1959, I can actually imagine how terrifying the story would have been to readers at that time. But overall, I did enjoy reading this as a classic horror literature, and I would give this book a rating of 3.5 out of 5 stars. If you like this video, do share your thoughts and comments on the section below, and do like and subscribe to my videos because I do post more book reviews and movie reviews. You can also click on the bell notification icon to get notifications on whenever I post something new. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.